Defender of the Fatherland Day is a very important patriotic holiday in the Russian calendar. And yesterday's concert was really looking ahead to today, wishing the armed forces luck, talking about Russian unity. Today, as you say, a more sombre moment where he laid a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier to commemorate Russia's, Soviet Union's huge casualties in World War II. But remember that those casualties have been significantly added to over the past year, thanks to Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine. The last official casualty count that the MOD, the Ministry of Defence, gave for the Russian armed forces was 6,000 in September, just under 6,000. And when you compare that to the US estimates that perhaps as many as 200,000 Russian soldiers have been killed or injured in this war, well, it does give you something to think about, given the fact that this war has gone on for a year and doesn't look like it's going to end anytime soon. The speech that Vladimir Putin recorded this morning for Defender of the Fatherland Day was also interesting because of what he said about building up the capabilities of Russia's nuclear forces, talking about how the Satan II missile, as it's called, the Sarmat missile, intercontinental ballistic missile, would now be deployed. That's been in testing for quite a long time. And also that other hypersonic missiles that have already also been in testing would be delivered to the Navy and at some point also to the Air Force. And I think those are signals to the West that Russia's nuclear capabilities are very much up and running and at the ready. And a lot of nuclear deterrence is about the language that you use and not just the weaponry. But when you think about these kinds of weapons, they're not necessarily the ones that are going to be used on the ground in Ukraine. What Russia needs in Ukraine is a lot more ammunition and regular weapons system to supply its armed forces. And we have seen a very interesting spat between the head of the Wagner Group, Yevgeny Prigozhin, and the Ministry of Defence over the last few days, where Prigozhin has been calling out the Russian armed forces for not providing his men with the ammunition that they need. And perhaps as a result, this morning, he said today at 6 a.m, we seem to have had some signatures on papers which say that we'll get the ammunition that we need. And seeing what a sacrifice the Wagner forces have made around Bakhmut, you would hope that they do start to get ammunition, or whether it just reflects on the lack of resources for the armed forces as a whole.